everybody, and I welcome everyone to this wonderful seminar or panel discussion. And I'm sure we'll have some very fruitful discussion today. Before I start, let me just take a quick moment to introduce myself and my lot of colleagues who are going to speak to you. Who are going to have I think speaking is the wrong word. I must say who are going to have a discussion with you or who are going to have conversation with you. All right. So my name is Deepak, and I lead HR for SS&C India. Among us, we have our own Puneet Malik, who heads technology for whole of India, and then Kavita, who heads one of the top project, which where she's going to share a lot of insight with you. And then we have our colleagues who joined very recently from various big colleges, like the guy you are, and some few of you are going to join us. And then we have a colleague from our HR, like Arun, who heads our talent acquisition. All right. So before I share any more detail, let me just narrate one story. And I'm sure you must have heard lot of similar things in the past. A company starting from garage. I'm not sure how many of you have heard something like that. For example, Apple or Dell. All these companies started from garage. So similar was the fate with SS&C. In 1986, Bill Stone, along with his two friends, started this company as an accounting firm using technology from his own garage. And he was an accountant himself before that, okay? And in 1986, he started. And in 34 years, from zero to almost $5 billion revenue organization, SS&C has become. This is an amazing story. This is an amazing journey which SS&C has gone through, and I am privileged to share some of those with you. So from zero to $5 billion. Now, to begin with, let me just share the presence of SS&C across the continent. Today, you name the country, any major country, and SS&C has the presence. Of course, United States, in almost all the states of United States, we have a big presence, and then United Kingdom, UK, and many other part of Europe. Then we have other part of Northern America. In Asia, we have, of course, India, Thailand, Hong Kong, and then we have Australia presence. We have small presence in South Africa. I'll share one important fact with you. We have close to 25,000 people today across different part of the world. But out of 25,000 people, almost 6,500 people are based out of India. And why is it important for us? There is nothing called cost arbitrage anymore. SS&C is committed to invest more and more in India, and the reason is they strongly feel that the new innovation will come from India because the technology people, the people who are good in technology, the young population is based out of India. And SS&C truly believe that if they keep investing in India, if they keep growing in India, the more innovation will come out of India, which will take SS&C to further heights. That's the important part, and that you must know and hear. And I'm sure when Puneet, Kavita, and many other people will talk to you, they are going to share a lot of new innovation which is coming out of India. Another important part is out of $5 billion, though revenue is $5 billion, but we are pretty cash rich company. We are almost $1 billion organization, and our market cap is close to $17 billion, and we are among one of the top 100 fastest growing company in the fintech sector. I am sure when you will hear more about the technology, it will create a lot of interest among all of you. You will be thinking and you will be asking more and more questions. Now, I'll jump back to India story again. We started almost 15 years back in India, and from zero, we have grown to 6,500. We have presence in Hyderabad, Pune, Mumbai, and Gurgaon. And you never know, we may end up growing further and setting up our operation across different other cities, the important cities of India. All right. One quick notes. Please keep typing question, whatever question you may have. We'll try to clear toward the end of the session. And also, uh, if the time permit, you can ask us question later also, and we'll try to answer you, or we'll try to write back to you with our with whatever query you may have. Okay. So I was just talking about what is the package of your company. I'm just seeing some question. I'm sorry, but we'll take everything toward the end. Yeah. So I was just talking about SS&C story, and a couple of other points you must note. SS&C is all about performance driven organization where the talent thrives. And I'll give you a couple of examples. You must be amazed to know the COO of our organization post. So basically, Bill Stone is the CEO, and the second man who runs this organization is an Indian called Rahul Kanwar. And he is the first generation Indian in US. So he studied in India, moved to US, and now he is the COO. So that calls a performance driven culture. The second important person in SS&C is our HR head, Darpan Bhargav. She's also from India, went to US, and now she's the global HR head for whole of SS&C. Why I'm telling you all this story? Because, like I said, it's the performance which matters most in SS&C culture, and that truly tells that if you are able to perform, it doesn't matter which country you belong to, it doesn't matter which color you belong to, it doesn't matter what age you have. All that matters is if you perform, you are going to grow, and the sky is the limit in SS&C. And as you can see, SS&C is an organization which is growing very very rapidly. So it provides enormous opportunity to everyone. It provides a platform to all of our colleagues to grow, to innovate, and to continue to be part of this big journey. With that, I hand over to our technology head, Mr. Puneet Malik, and he's going to take you through some of the technological journey what we are having recently. Puneet, over to you.
Thanks, Deepak. So I see, I can see a lot of people asking a lot of interesting questions, right? And I think hold off your questions because I would try to answer most of your questions about technologies and other stuff uh, during in next 15 minutes, right? So I had the India technology, right? We have around 6,000 technologies in India, right? I joined SNC 2.5 years back, and in my 25 plus years in investment banking, this is the first time uh, I'm working for a product company. So it was a it was a decision where, that needed some thought because first time working out of investment bank. But I can tell you, we have done a lot of great stuff in SNC in last 2.5 years. Before I get into this, so the agenda will be right. I will walk you through all the technology tech stack, all the cool stuff we are working on, which skill sets like Yash is looking asking the question on the chat, what technology skill set we are looking for. And then we will have Kavita, like Deepak mentioned, she will talk about some of the research she's doing on workflow, machine learning, RP, and other stuff. And then you will hear live directly from some of our colleagues, graduates who joined us, their experiences, how they felt in their first few years, right? And this is, we have been hiring interns from IITs and other top tier colleges, and we hired graduates also, like into the full time program, right? Our internships goes from somewhere around 3 to 6 months, and then they joins us. And thanks to this lockdown, that I think this is a great opportunity for all of the college graduates to get more of hands on technology experience in the industry. Excuse me. So I think you guys are the lucky crowd. When I was in my college years, I didn't have these opportunities what you guys have. But I think you need to make full use of these opportunities. And SNC what we have is, all companies, Google, Microsoft, or other investment banks, they will talk about all the bells and whistles. We are a flat structure organization, this, that. But I will tell you some of the real facts, because I worked in all investment banks globally. I was in New York City for worked in there for 15 years before I relocated to India, set up practices for banks. There is a fact that most of the organizations in India that are set up, they are actually captives. I mean, captive is the wrong word, it's derogatory, but what that means is, they come here, like Deepak mentioned, for cost arbitrage, and they want to get work done. They give work to the developers over here, and they expect that to be done, and that's it. So there is very little learning, right? This is not a generic thing. I'm talking of most of the companies, that's what they have. And the opportunities that you get if you are working in outside of India, say in US, London, or Australia, interacting directly with clients and working on trying out new technologies, that is very rare here, because that is that is done, most of the stuff that is done outside of India. But in Ssnc, right, I will walk you through different divisions that we have. And then, while I'm talking to the divisions, I'll also talk about the tech stack. So, first of all, I'll talk, Ssnc is like a mini investment bank. And I'm sure, when your college recruiter or head would have talked to you about that there's a company called Ssnc, you would probably wouldn't have uh, known or heard about this. And there's a reason for that, right? When you watch these Bollywood movies, right? Everyone knows Salman Khan and Shah Rukh Khan. Nobody knows the big guys behind the scenes, right? So it's the same thing. Ssnc is in the business of wholesale technology platform build out, right? All the billion-dollar, trillion-dollar investment banks, JP Morgan, Wells Fargo, Banks of America, Barclays, you name it, right? We are the US largest transfer agency. So what is a transfer agency? So, when these banks, for example, JP Morgan asset management companies, they come up with the mutual funds, right? And they want to sell their assets, they want to sell it to the mom and pops, retail people, right? And then when somebody buys into these mutual funds, right, there has to be a record keeping. What that means is, okay, how many shares this guy has, A has, how many B has, if somebody is redeeming or buying more interest, we need to pay them, all that kind of stuff. That's a lot. And risk analysis, P&L, valuations of the portfolio as the stock prices go up and down. So that's what transfer agencies do. So if you see, nowadays the industry, where industry is moving is that gone are those days where, there were monolithic companies which were doing right from A to Z. They were vertically integrated, meaning, they will grow the crop, they will grow their own crop, they will take it to the mill, convert it into a product, have their own salespeople sell it. That is not a very efficient model, right? So what companies now doing is they want to play to their strengths, their core competencies. What is the core competencies of investment banks? They are very good in picking up the stocks, where to invest your money. They are not very efficient with the technologies, they can't try out new technologies, right? So that's where companies like Ssnc comes. Like Deepak said, it's the top fintech companies in the world, right? So when you hear about fintech, you think of startup companies, but Ssnc is very old company. It's that old that some of the roads in US, they are named after the founders of this company. So US largest transfer agency, all these investment banks, they use Ssnc for doing their fund administrations for their mutual funds. Now, another is hedge funds. You would have heard hedge funds, very rich, they're very rich, profitable. They are different asset class. They need also the fund administration. So all the trillion-dollar hedge funds, mostly across the globe, Ssnc does the fund administration for them, right? If you combine these two, you will see Ssnc has a big market book of these asset classes. So we deal with most of these investment banks, hedge fund clients. and we are talking globally, right? North America, EMEA, Europe, and Asia, and also Australia, right? Another thing is, retirement in US, right? Most of the companies, right, like we have provident fund here in US, they have similar like 401k plan, right? All the companies, their employees needs to invest money. uh, they need to invest that money in the assets, mutual funds. So you need technology platform for that. You may have heard of Vanguard, Fidelity, American Funds, Lincoln. So what SNC has a retirement division. What they do is we build the wholesale technology platforms which companies can use to build their retirement solutions and then sell it to companies like Google, PepsiCo, Coke, Apple, and so forth and forth, right? Another is our brokerage division. We have a brokerage division for Charles Schwab, who wants to keep record of which broker dealer is doing what. We have a platform systems for that. We have our own flagship workflow product that Kavita will talk more about, that competes with Pega, JBPM, that's heavily used in most of the financial institutions. We have a machine learning division we just acquired from Silicon Valley, California, Vidado, right? That also Kavita and other folks will talk about it. We have a digital division, right? We have a wealth management division. So most of the elite wealth managers across the globe, they use SNC platforms for managing the assets, right? And we have a big business under the code name Blue Door, and this is across the globe, be North America, Europe, and Australia. In US, most of the prescriptions that goes to the pharmacies meaning chemist in US. If you want to buy medicine, you go take prescription to the chemist shop in US. They go through SNC platforms. So we have a diversified healthcare and pharma division also. So there are many more divisions, but in nutshell, what I'm trying to say is SNC is a very diversified $15 billion, $15 billion company which has offices across the world. And if you search on our site, there's hardly any city in the world where SNC doesn't have an office. And the reason for that is SNC has grown through acquisitions. So we do a lot of acquisitions. And even during these challenging times, right, when companies are unable to retain their revenue, retain their employees, honor the offers that they made 6 months back, right, because they don't have revenue, it's all dry, we are still acquiring companies, right? Our most recent acquisition was machine learning company based out of California, Vidado, right? They have Kavita will talk more about that. Before that, we acquired the risk analytics engine algorithmics, which is used for portfolio stress testing in most of the investment banks from IBM. We acquired insurance companies in Ireland and so forth and forth. And still we are always on a lookout for more companies to acquire. And that is the reason behind that is because, like Deepak mentioned, we are very profitable, we are fiscally disciplined, right? Our 40, we have high margins, 40% margins, right? All that contributes towards these acquisitions. And Bill Stone, who is the CEO of our company, he is he's in the Forbes billionaire list. Okay, so if you look for the Forbes billion list, Bill Stone is there, and he's a self-made person, and he has his own. By the way, he has his own plane. So he traveled to India in his own plane 1.5 years back. That shows his commitment to India. Now coming back to India, now we understand SNC different business divisions, right? Globally, 90% of the development, guys, happens in India. There are very few companies in India, who have set up the shops where so high percentage of development happens in India. And any new group that is built, there is a mandate from the senior leadership that it has to happen in India. And as a result, we have a very mature technology organization in India. So some of the roles that I will talk about, and this And I will tell you why this is all very important. Some of the roles, we have global product owners sitting out of India that drive the product strategy. Kavita, who's here, right? We have global tech architects, we have global scrum masters, business analysts, etc., etc., right? Why this is very important, especially for college graduates, youngsters like you, because you want to be surrounded by the people from whom you can learn, right? Because this is the time, you need to focus on learning, strengthening your resume, pick up new tech skill sets. The last in priority for you should be package. I don't. You should not care about package, because even if somebody gives you free, don't pay you anything, but you get an opportunity to work in a company, large organization, and you can get to learn. I think that's a great opportunity. Don't take me that we don't pay. We do pay. I will talk about the package also, or HR will talk about, right? But the point is, your priorities has to be very different, because the way technology is changing, it's very different. Now somebody asks that, what skill sets are we looking for? uh, I started as a Java developer in back in 94. Okay, I don't know, many of you may not have been there, but Java came as a applet, front end technology, right? So after that, it IBM Huxley was the first to try out Java as a server side technology. So the first server side technology project called San Francisco project was built in Rochester Labs, IBM Rochester Labs. So I worked there. Since then, I've seen technology has changed drastically. So it doesn't matter what skill sets, what tech skill set you have today. What we are looking for is your potential to learn new technology, because we have Ssnc, we have our own private cloud, Ssnc cloud, you know and because we are like an infrastructure, you know you name any technology and we use that. So we have mainframes, we have .NET, we have Java, we have APIs, we have automation, we have machine learning, Python, etc., etc. We use all types of technologies that you can think of, right? And of course, not everyone knows all the programming languages. If you know one programming language, I think you can pick up, anything. I picked up Java a while back. C++, everyone knows, and I think Java has made life easier for all of our developers, right? So I think it doesn't matter what skill set you have. We provide all the training, like resources, right? But what is more important is, you need to drive your own career right from day one. And that's what I tell to all my associates, that when you come to office, you have to see what are you going to do to strengthen your resume and pick up the new skill set for yourself. You have to be very selfish, right? Because if you do that, guess what? Our organization goal is the same as yours. We have a win-win. If you do try out new technologies, build it, Ssnc wins because we can build more, good products and sell it to the clients, right? So we are open for all the technologies, but primarily it is, Java, .NET, automation. Some of the, I will tell you, right, we have changed, revamped how automation is done. We have built our own automation platform, that using Docker, running on the cloud, right? And we are selling that as testing as a service to many of the clients that use Selenoid. We have used QTP, right? And it is not, don't presume automation just as writing some test script. These are actually development roles that we are looking for, because automation engineers, they are writing code in Python, in Java, to make all this thing happen, right? We have a web interface we are selling to a lot of clients. So I don't know, you heard of companies like Browser Stack, who have made billions out of automation as a testing as a service. So we do have that, and we are looking for automation engineers, Java developers. We are looking for .NET developers, right? So that those are the range of technologies that that we are looking for. And what is more important is for all of you guys is there are a lot of resources on the internet to learn nowadays. That was not the opportunity many decades back, right? So don't assume anyone is going to give you hands on spoon feeding and you're going to hear directly from some of the graduates that they're going to talk to you how they joined us, how they got the support from the senior folks on our teams, and they picked up and they're delivering code, right? There is no, you have to get training on the job, deliver things, and that's how you do, right? Some of the people ask me, what is going to be my role, title, all that stuff, right? I manage, right, 700, 800 developers, technical associates, right? I still code. I am a Java developer, right? And so we all are in our teams are developers. We don't have any project managers. Okay, it's a pure technology company, flat structure. We only have technical people, right? As you move up in the career, right, doesn't mean you may code, but you are technical. You can understand architecture and all that stuff. So the culture here is very different. It is very similar to Google, Microsoft, but there's an advantage over that we are an investment bank. It is very, if you're working in a pure technology company, you miss out on the domain part, right? And if you work on the investment banks, they are not that tech savvy, you miss on the pure technology part. So in Ssnc, you get best of both the world. We leverage the latest technology, plus you get to work on different domains, be wealth management, retirement, brokerage, workflow, pharmacy, and all that stuff. So I think that is a great advantage you all have. So I think with that, I will hand it over to Kavita, who will walk you through, give you some insights into what she's working on.
Sure. Thanks for that handover, Puneet. Hello, everyone. I just want to give you a little brief introduction about myself before I go into sharing my experiences. So, I'm Kavita Chinnupati, working as a director in product management for SS&C in one of their flagship products called as AWD. It's a workflow automation product, and I've been into this space for about 17 years now. So, as part of my core role, I am responsible for shaping the roadmap of this global product, which is used by the who's who of financial services industry and the healthcare industry. And I'm also responsible for deriving the new revenue streams for my group around AI and ML solutions. I'm an active researcher, and I'm working on combining the fields of workflow automation, AI, machine learning, and RPA to automate key processes that touch each of our lives, basically. So, now why do I call it as each of our lives? It is because processes are omnipresent. So think of simple examples in your life, like the examination process, bank account creation process, or know your customer process, claiming medical expenses, obtaining a US visa, booking a car, right? So everything is a process in life, okay? And these processes are spread across two most important domains in our life, financial and healthcare industries or domains. So SS&C has across 100 products, which are there spread across financial services and the healthcare industry. And one of this key horizontal product, which is spreading across all these financial services and healthcare products, is the workflow product where I work on. Now, let me talk to you about some experiences in terms of the fun aspects of my profile, my perceptions about the organizational culture that is at SS&C, and the work-life cohesion that we have in SS&C. So the first thing let me talk is about the fun aspects. Now, when I say fun aspects, please do not read it as any cultural or sporting activities. Well, we do, of course, have those as well as part of a vibrant social life and several organization events that we have. But what I'm going to cover under this section or point is the passion that all of us bring to work and how the organization helps us in connecting our hearts to work. Now, that gives me to a segue where I just want to quote some statistic which I have read from a research actually. I heard that only 30% of college grads take a job which is offered to them, right? The remaining 70% hunt for what they want. They come with a passion, they come with their own dreams. They have an idea about what they want to work, where they want to work, and why they want to work. So let me talk to you a little bit about some of the projects that I have done, and where it shows you on how, passion is intertwined with work in SS&C. Okay. So as part of my role, we have an opportunity to work directly with customers, the customers like, who is who in the financial services industry and healthcare industry. Now, when I was reading a bit about the spread of AI and ML technology in FS sector, especially, I read it from some very respectable journals that the adoption rate in the fintech industry for AI is just at 50%, where most of the companies have just started rolling out one or max two of their AI solutions right now. And a Forbes report actually claims that only 14.6% of these firms have actually been able to deploy an AI solution to prod. Okay, and that's how low the deployment rate of AI is, and you can imagine the growth that this field is going to bring about, I would say. So and the most quoted reasons for some of these failures in AI deployments and services are attributed to the human factors on psychologies and functional aspects more than the technology aspects. So I just want to talk to you about a little experience that we have in rolling out one of our AI solutions. We have had this opportunity to work with a customer directly, and we have the visibility into the challenges that the customers are having. Most of our customers have one of the concept called as a maker and checker concept. So typically imagine, like, when you're going and depositing a check in the bank, somebody is keying in that amount into the software screen which is before them. So you entered an amount 1000, and a loss of zero there is going to significantly impact you, right? I mean, positively or negatively, 1,000 or a 1 lakh, right? So we don't want these mistakes to be committed. These are very, very critical financial transactions. So, I mean, this particular client that we have had works on more than 3 million transactions per month. Per month, okay. So now just imagine, to ensure the sanctity of the data which is entered in, they have a checking process in place for every transaction which the maker had worked on, right? So even if I'm going to take a very, very fractional amount of 30 seconds for doing a check, right, multiplied by 3 million transactions, imagine the amount of time that we are spending on just doing a checking, right? So this is a critical business problem. All right. So the client was very interested in, can you really get this time down and bring some savings to the organization? So we have invested a team there where we started building an AI solution which can look into the historical patterns of where the mistakes were committed. So probably as a person who's entering the data, I have committed more mistakes on a Friday evening when I'm in a mood to check out of office, right? Or maybe just after lunch when I'm in a mood to take a little nap, I've committed the most number of mistakes. Or maybe there is a particular XYZ who is low on experience and has committed some mistakes. So these are some of the historical patterns that we can learn from the history of the transactional data that we have. And then we developed an AI solution that can predict whether or not an item is likely to be a wrong item, a mistaken item, which is having some quality issues. We developed it and we have rolled out. We have achieved 40% reduction in the number of items which are going into quality queue. So just imagine 40% percent of 3 million transactions is about 1.2 million transactions multiplied by 30 seconds. I will leave the math to you guys. Okay, so that's the saving that we are going to bring in. Now the customer did not talk to us about a particular technology. The customer didn't ask us to do something in C++ or Java or microservices or AI and ML. It's us who had the freedom to choose the technology, but we wanted to meet a business need. So the two takeaways from this experience that I wanted to share with you guys is that one, our teams have business connect across the organization. It doesn't matter whether you're a fresh graduate or you're coming with 20 years experience. Show us the worth, you will have a connect to the business, right? And the second thing, you have a freedom to chart out a business course of action, of course, justifying the return on investment and the benefits that it would derive, right? So you would have to make a mark yourself and feel accomplished. It's no more a 9 to 5 job, but an arena where you can make a difference, right? So that's a key point that I wanted to bring by sharing this experience with all of you. I've seen a couple of questions there on technology. So technology changes every 3 years or 4 years. It's a core logic that you bring in, which is going to be really standing the stead for you, right? So invest in learning about the business problems. There is no other better company than SS&C in terms of giving you that business knowledge, because we have our own business processing units as well. So that is where we get all our business knowledge from. There's one more thing that I wanted to talk to you about. There's another customer where we are working on clubbing one of our industry renowned OCR technology called as Vidado, and the workflow automation tool called as AWD, a robotic process automation tool called as UiPath, into deriving a single automation solution for a customer which wants to automate the back office stock transfer processes. So when you typically invest in your share market, where you say that, okay, I want to sell off 100 shares on Reliance and invest 500 shares in TCS, right? So that's a typical stock transfer process. So we are clubbing all these things into that stock transfer process where we are working on Vidado. A little bit about Vidado for those of you who would want to understand. It is a world-renowned ICR platform, and I say world-renowned because there is no other tool, including the Google OCRs or the AWS OCRs, which can beat the accuracy of this tool. It predicts the handwritten text on forms which are ingested by around 90 to 95% accuracy. Far better than human accuracy, right? And there is a technology behind which is running, an ML technology, machine learning technology running behind it, which is going to even identify. So I just have to give it the form. It will tell us whether it is a new account creation form, a fund transfer form, or a change of address form, or a change of beneficiary form, right? So it tells you what is the form type, it digitizes the content which is there on the form, it puts the process, the data into the process, and it helps you in processing the things in a straight through manner. And that's exactly what the industry is looking for. So it's that's how it became world renowned, I say, right? So we do use some AWS machine learning algorithms as well for our machine learning challenges. And our entire build and deployment pipelines, our CI/CD, as what we call as automated CI/CD, is in AWS. And we work on a few of the latest technologies like Angular, Spring Boot, Kafka Streams, Apache NiFi, and Microsoft. So is world all green and you work only on model technologies? Not necessarily. It's a very deep-rooted company like what Puneet and Deepak have just mentioned, with a history of over 30 years. So we do have the old mainframes and the Java codes and everything as well. But then a very vibrant tech stack that we are moving forward with. We continuously reinvent ourselves being a technology company. And the processes where I'm working on, they have a lot of scope for augmented decision making. So I think anybody who can Google can understand what augmented decision making is to the industry. So that's a place where we want to intertwine AI solutions into existing applications, basically, and help in human decision making. So, for example, a claim has been ingested into our system, right? Now, as a person who is processing the claim, I want to understand if this is a fraudulent claim or a right claim, right? So I can have an AI solution plugged in to, give us that insight, which can help us in making the decision. So basically it is augmenting or helping a human to make better and richer decisions. So moving a human from ordinary to super intelligent, I would call it as, right? So this is also called as a human in the loop concept, and this is where AI is growing manifold, and that's a suite of products that I work on basically. So that's on the technology side, and there was someone else on chat who asked about what's the kind of tech stack that you work on. I'm not sure if you guys have heard about polyglot services or polyglot technologies, right? So I think gone is the era where somebody tells you, well, you have to do your project in C++ or in Java or in microservices. Okay, the decision, polyglot technologies or services would mean that the decision on what technology you want to use for achieving a business problem is in your hands as a team. Okay, so if your team feels that, okay, for my user interface, Node.js is the best, go for it. Or if you feel that, oh, I want to write a Python code for achieving this function, Java code is not all that very efficient in doing this. Okay, go for it, right? So the technology stream is coming into such an agnostic manner that it doesn't anymore matter behind the scenes on what technologies you're writing your code on. The frameworks will understand it and route it to the respective compilers or executables, right? So polyglot technologies or services are where SS&C is aimed at. So we have recently had our FSG's architectural tech stack being released, and there's a lot of emphasis being faced on polyglot, right? So I think so that question is not going to be relevant anymore going forward, I would say. Okay, and the second point that I wanted to talk about, I mean, the first was all about technology and the opportunities that you might have and everything. Is the second point that I'm going to talk about is the organizational culture. I think I can just talk about it in one line: work hard and party harder, right? There are days where we slogged. I would not say that, oh, we have a 9 to 5 job, very nice life around there. We do work hard, and we do get paid for our work, right? So our services are being recognized both in terms of career progression as well as in terms of financial returns. So the motto that we have is work hard and party harder. So we enjoy, we work hard, we feel accomplished every single day we sign out. So that's the organizational culture that we have. And finally, talking about the work life cohesion, there's you all must have heard about Indra Nui, right? The CEO of Coca Cola, right? Uh, so she once said, there is this word work life balance is just nonsense, it's a trash. Okay, so what you need to just arrive at is a work life cohesion. There are days where you spend longer hours at work, there are days where you spend longer hours with family, right? And that's all what cohesion is about. And it's in your hands. You know when your project demands you, you know when your family demands you, right? So we have a lot of work life cohesion in the organization in terms of flexi hours, in terms of talking to your managers and establishing your own work routine, as long as you're accomplishing your tasks. And of course, we do have a lot of fun do clubs like music, sport, tech learning, hackathons, a lot of showcases, and everything, right? So those are the 3 points that I wanted to cover about technology, the organizational culture, and the work-life cohesion. Right. So if you're a person who would want to choose pragmatism over experience, I think your ideas are in sync with us, because we do the same thing. For us, experience do not matter. For us, what matters is what you bring to the table. So it's pragmatism over work experience. And if you would want to work for a meaningful, if you would want to do a meaningful work for a company that is impactful, what more is impactful than financial services than and healthcare, right? All you would think about in your life is earn good and stay safe, right? So if you want to work, do some meaningful work for a company with a lot of impact, then I think SS&C is the one. So that's what I would want to briefly share with all of you. So I think I'll just give it a brief 1 or 2 minutes if you have any questions before I hand it over to Anushka.
So I think Kavita, in the interest of time, they can start having this. Anushka, why don't you share now? Anushka, Aarti, Murli, and Richa, right? Very quickly, 2 minutes. Which college you come from? How did you do? Right, in the interest of time, let's do that.
Okay. Hello everyone. My name is Anushka. I'm studying in Mahindra Eco Central, Hyderabad, and I am currently an associate at SS&C Technologies. To tell you all a little bit about what I have worked with, I was privileged enough to have worked with many different kinds of technologies. I've worked with microservices. I've worked with, I've created microservices using Elasticsearch, Python, NiFi, Kafka, and Java. And I've also had the opportunity to work on an ML or algorithm. And the ML algorithm basically, what it was tasked to do was it would study a person's historic performance, how they have worked on different tasks, how well they have done, and based on that, it would assign people new tasks, basically to improve efficiency and to make sure that we are reducing the amounts of quality checks and errors, like how Kavita has explained before. So that was one of the ML projects that I worked on, and beyond that, I've also had the privilege of working on a lot of microservices and using various kinds of technologies. Um, I think, yeah, that pretty much sums up. I had the
Okay, great. How long, Anushka? How long ago you joined SNC?
So I was an intern in summer of 2020, and now again in January I joined, and I'm currently in my last semester of engineering. So after I finish the semester, I'll be officially a working employee at
Great,
SS&C.
excellent. And I don't want to offend any of the college authorities, but I tell Anushka and everyone that I can bet you that if you work here, you will learn much more than what you have done 1 year in college. So next we have Aarti. Aarti, you want to talk about?
Yeah, am I audible?
Yes.
Okay. Hello everyone. So I will briefly talk about myself. I'm software engineering. I'm software engineer and work in the FSG space. And I have total of 4 year experience, and I'm working with the SS&C from last 2 years. So the technology that I work on is mainly Java, Vue, and Ionic framework, and I work on the different technology like content management systems such as .cms, etc. And so the mainly what I want to talk about is when I joined SS&C. So I was mainly core Java developer. I didn't knew any other technology as such. But when I joined, I made my expectations clear. Like I wanted to learn new technologies and I want to work with the new projects and etc. So fortunately, I got the chance to work on the project that was started from the scratch, and so I was part of the process where we decided on which framework to go with and then what challenges we might face on. So we made POC with two different technologies like Angular and Vue, and then I was part of all that discussion. So that was the one of the best experience that I have had with the company. Like I was not just doing the assigned work, but I was part of the process where where we can contribute our thoughts, where we can share our knowledge, where we can gain the knowledge from others, because not everyone knows everything, but everyone knows something, right? So that is the culture that is nurtured here, and yeah, I'm glad to be part of here, and work culture is awesome here. So like as I said, I was part of the whole process where let it be like architecture decision or any few technical discussion where like I don't have the expertise, but still I was part of that. So I learned like how the people think and what needs to be discussed before we make any decision on the project. So yeah, sorry for
So
going
Aarti,
fast.
so
But
I just
yes.
want to share. So Aarti was the one I hired Aarti in our previous investment bank, and she had many questions like, "What do you guys have?" And I think she's 2-3 years very young, and she's delivering much more than a 10-year experienced person, because she has been surrounded by the people and she has picked up a lot of new technologies. It's very important. What counts
I
is not how many years of experience you have, but how much do you know and how much value you can add, right? And our compensation, like other panelists say, is based on not how much you can add, how many years of experience you have, but how much you can deliver for the company. Next you're gonna hear is Murli, right? He started with us for a long time back and now he's traveling to client sites. You're gonna hear Murli. Go ahead.
Thanks, Puneet. Hi, everyone. Good evening. Myself, Morley. So today I'm here to share my work experience with SS&C Technologies. I was graduated from Gayatri Vidya Parishad College of Engineering, Visakhapatnam. So I joined SS&C as a college graduate 7 years ago. 7 years is a quite a journey, right? Especially in the first company. I started as a junior consultant, and now I'm working as a lead consultant for the AWD professional services team. I think Kavita has already given an overview about AWD. So you might be wondering what made me to stick with this company for 7 years and counting. So the answer is simple. There are three things that keeps me driving work with this company. The first thing is guidance and support. Though my role was junior consultant when I started, I have got opportunity to speak with clients directly, understand their requirements, and build their solution that match their needs using AWD. So it is definitely not an easy job for a fresher, but I was fortunate that I have got a great team and company which guided me in all the aspects. So I learned a lot from the team, and they are willing to help. And we do have one-on-one conversation with our managers and high-level management, which allows us to share our challenges and get the resolutions quickly. And the second thing is, I get a chance to work in challenging roles and opportunities to work with different technologies. Uh, in my current consultant role, I've got opportunity to travel to onshore client offices. I've run the requirements workshop for them. I built the solution on top of AWD that match their requirements. So, and AWD has a client base across the world. So I get a chance to work with different teams across the world. So it's nice to work with teams across the world, and you get adapt to different work cultures. So apart from my regular AWD consultant role, I also work on several initiatives. I work on RPA, robotic process automation projects. I'm a certified UiPath professional. I learned UiPath when I joined this company. UiPath is one of the leading RPA tools. So as part of this role, I look at our client process, identify the process that fit for automation, and automate them using UiPath. So that helps our clients in reducing their manual effort and their costs. I also work with Vidado, which Kavita has given the overview a while back. So which is an ICR OCR engine. So I work on several Vidado implementation projects. We also built a connector for AWD to integrate with Vidado. So AWD receives like thousands of handwritten forms on daily basis. It's a lot of manual effort to read them and key in the data into AWD system. So this connector will reduce lot of that manual effort and reduce the cost and time.
So Murli, this is really great, and I wanted to introduce now another intern. Now, what matters is, there are a lot of companies where you go there and you are considered like you are a junior guy. What can you deliver, right? So you should hear from Richa and other. You heard from Nusha, right? When you join here as a college graduate, there's no difference between you and any other developer. So Richa, why don't you share yours?
Yeah, so hi, I'm Rata. I am from KJ Somaya College. I am currently in my final year. So I've been part of this organization for past 2 months. So this was my first corporate experience and it has been great so far. Like I was just like you guys. I did not know much, but like I already always had the knack to learn new things. So like I learned a lot of new technologies like NiFi, Kafka. So I also got an opportunity to participate in a codeathon with my manager. So in that, that was a great experience because in that I got a lot of exposure as in that competition, people from all around the world participated. So due to the continuous guidance of my mentor, we were able to also deliver a winning solution. So that was a great experience. So overall, the transition from college to industry was very smooth because you are always in touch with your managers, mentors. You get to discuss your ideas, you get to express what you are feeling, and they take into consideration your inputs. And that's why it's a total learning experience. So personally, till now, these 2 months have been amazing, and I'm enjoying a lot working here. So it has been
Okay,
a memorable
great.
experience.
Thank you, Richa. By the way,
Yeah,
Richa is based out of Mumbai. So we
yeah,
are like Deepak mentioned, we have locations out of Hyderabad, multiple offices in Hyderabad, Pune, Mumbai, Gurgaon. Because nowadays, it doesn't matter where you working. We are all virtual, right? So once we come out of this lockdown, we have a policy that we will have 40% of the staff who will work from home for good, right? As long as you deliver, it doesn't matter. So Arun, we are already on the top of the. So Arun, you want to share our test, online test that we are going to be doing this Saturday?
Sure, sure, Puneet. Thank you, Puneet. Thank you, leaders, students, and college representatives to join us today. I will quickly share the screen and will walk you through the logistics. Um, yeah. So this is what we are planning. So we have two level of assessment. One is online technical test followed by business interaction. So online technical test is scheduled on 13th of March, upcoming Saturday. The start time is 10 a.m. The duration of this test would be 60 minutes, although the window will be open for 6 hours starting from 10 a.m. But whenever you will log in, you will get only 60 minutes to complete this entire test. Now, this test will is comprises of three sections. Section one includes technical Java MCQs and code snippets. Section two is primarily based on logical reasoning questions, and third section is on coding. We'll have two questions on coding. You will receive a link via email. This is basically a sample link which I have shared. So you will receive it on your email IDs. And for any other further questions, our details of our recruitment teams are already shared with your training and placement officers and college representatives. If you have any questions, you can always reach out to us. So Saturday we are keeping because we want to give you enough time to prepare yourself for this upcoming test. So
Okay.
that's from my end.
So Arun, if somebody has to, uh, you know, somebody has to reach out to us, do we have a like? Do you want to share any details on the chat for the LinkedIn or email address? Like somebody has any other questions after this?
Sure. We'll be sharing that in the chat box.
Yeah, we should put it. So I think, guys, it's what is more important is that we are giving you prep time, right? We pick Java, right? Doesn't mean that you're going to be getting coding in Java, right? We pick the language that most of the college curriculums have, right? So but like I said, we are looking for passionate talent who can work in .NET, Java, or automation on the cloud, right? We are, like I mentioned, we are building automation services, and we will provide training resources. But you guys have to drive your own career. Doesn't matter where you work. You work in Ssnc or any other company, of your liking. But you guys need to drive your own career. Nobody is gonna train you. So please prep yourself. The test details are already with you and your college administrators, right? And followed by that, we will have, like Arun mentioned, we will have your discussion with the business. You can get to know more about the project and internship option, right? 3 to 6 months, because that's a good option, because you can check out the culture, the project, does it like you, and then you switch to full time. Okay. uh, what kind of skills or attitude you want from our side? We need a, you have the top potential, right? Right now, for you to crack this thing, you need to, Java thing, you need to coding questions. And attitude is that I want, I want very, aggressive, not aggressive that you're gonna, beat around people, but who wants to do something in life, right? Because we turn around things very quickly. You are gonna get into an investment banks where we move billions, trillions of dollars, right? So any mistake, zero mistake, like you saw that with the Citigroup latest, right? There's somebody, missed a zero and it costed $500 million to the Citigroup. So we move trillions of dollars of money. So we need to deliver quality solutions to our clients. That's why our stock price is doing very well, right? I don't know how many of you guys have seen our S&C stock after that Google 3. All through this time, and other companies are taking a beating, our stock prices continues to go up, which is at around hovering around $70 right now. And it's part of our compensation thing. Yeah, it's compulsory. Java coding has compulsory. We don't, I am myself, I'm a Java developer. I do coding. So I expect all of you to do coding. Second year is going into third year, secure internship. Yes, you can do take internship, but right now, I would suggest you take the test, and then we can have that. That option is also open, but right now we are looking for people who can join as full time after the internship. But we are open. uh, I think coding questions, can we use anything other than Java? I think I'm okay, but Arun, how will this? How will that we have, because you're gonna giving this test on a portal, online portal, and that portal
Yes,
corrects that. So
correct.
if they write in any other language,
No, this will be only in Java, Puneet. Coding is only in Java.
okay, only in Java. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, guys, if you think you can do in any other language, I mean, we are open. We have to take it offline, right? Because I don't want to take away any opportunity from any of you if you think you are good in any other programming language. Another thing, right? This is a product company, right? We are not a services company like Wipro, TCS, or Cognizant or anything, right? There's no bond here, right? And our salaries or nothing is dependent upon, oh, if this client goes away, who will pay? It doesn't work that way. We build products and we sell the products. Okay. So there is no notion of bond here, right? Because this is only with the services company where they want to tie you up, right? You are free to come, free to go. Like you heard from Murli, he has been here for 7 years. He's enjoying, and average tenure is here 8 to 10 years, right? Okay. So all right, I think we are done. After qualifying, what's the process? So we don't believe in interviews. You clear the test, you will have a discussion to know more about the project, and the managers, technology managers, will get to know more about you. Okay. And if you know other languages in Java, like I said, we have to take this offline. You need to connect with the recruiter, and we can see how we can test you parallel on other languages. And again, share with your friends, colleagues, about, we are hiring. We hired 400 people last year. We built brand new teams in India. We are growing like crazy this year also. And again, this is in spite of the challenging times globally, because a lot of new companies, our clients, they are coming to us for resiliency and BCP. We can do better. Okay. I think we are 8 minutes over. We'll close this session now. Thank you all for coming, and we'll see you online on Saturday. Okay. Thank you, guys. Bye.
All right. Thank you, everyone.
Bye.